Hi, so today I'm going to be answering some questions about how to transition from children's service to adult services. I've been asked on my Discord group, which is a private Discord, a gated community of social workers and students or people with just a general interest in social work coming together to share information or advice about social work issues. So if you haven't already joined, it's free to join and there's some great people on there already. And then also, just people on my YouTube videos quite often ask about transferring from children's to adults and what they need to know and some tips of how to get there. So I am an adult social worker, so I thought I'd go ahead and sort of map out some of the key things about adult services which is worth you knowing. So thinking back to when I was a student, one of the things that they said on my placement was that you really need to understand the funding criteria, and it's not the biggest thing in adult social work, but it is key. And the reason that you need to know about it a little bit, at least, is because if they get complaints in adults, it's generally because someone hasn't advised about funding correctly. And a very quick and easy way to learn about that is to get fact sheets about introduction to adult social care if your local authority has them, or just look it up online. And basically in the UK, it's just if you have savings above £23,250, you pay for your care. If it's below that, you make a contribution towards your care. If you own a property, that's taken into account when you're going into a care home. If you're just looking at care at home, that's not relevant. So that's not all of it, but that's some of the key things. And knowing a little bit about that and a few other things around that people can have direct payments or different things like that, is just worth you just having a little Google just so that you're aware of those things. And then the overarching framework and legislation we work within in the UK is the Care Act. So look at that, look at the safeguarding criteria, the eligibility criteria, and the sort of threshold for getting care and support. So when we're looking at people's ability to maintain nutrition, maintain aspects of their daily living, getting washed, dressed, all these things, you have to have two eligible needs to be eligible for support to be arranged by social services. So that's like a really basic thing for you to know. And it'd be good for you to have like a vague knowledge of that. And then in terms of the day-to-day work, there's lots of different type of work. I'm a hospital social worker right now. I've also worked on a generic social work team where I've carried cases and supported people for anything up to like 1 or 2 years. And learning disability teams, sometimes people support people for a very long time. And the work is different. You will, from children's to adults, have lots of transferable skills. There's lots of meetings that need chairing. There's working appropriately with professionals. So if you have those sorts of skills, I'd really be bringing those out. I think generally people have a lot of appreciation for how challenging it is to work in children's services because of the pressures, how organised you need to be, how resilient you need to be, how you need to be able to handle stressful situations. And although the legislation is different, we need to know it in adults as well about children's, really, because often you may have to look out for signs of abuse or neglect, or whether something needs to be highlighted with children's services if you come across a family and notice that there is an issue with a child there. So it's always useful to have someone with that level of knowledge on the team. So that's something that would be good for you to point out and that you're willing to learn. I feel like they'll know that you have the general skills of communication and sort of engaging with people from your prior experience, and it's just about bringing that out and how you effectively work with people. But overall, I would not avoid doing it because I love working in adult services, and yeah, it kind of is like different worlds, like children's and adults, because where I work, at least, it's like a totally separate building and everything is set up differently. So I would be nervous about going over to children's as well if it was the other way around. But I would say, like, I know a load of people that have done it, changed going from children's service to adults, and are now really happy. And I think overall there's a lot of interesting work, and In terms of the safeguarding side, you'll have background knowledge that will help you, that can transfer into that. And all of these things, it'd just be worth you going on training to understand the legislation initially in your role. So you may want to point that out in the interview, that you understand that you'd need to do that, but that you know, super keen on that sort of thing. So they're the things that I'd really highlight to you. But if you have any further questions, just drop them in the comments section. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and let me know anything else you'd be interested in me answering.